Melanie, that's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Do you have a big
You're su
Sasquatch? Do you have a big Sasquatch on the wall behind you?
I do. I got lots of things going on by that back there. You don't even want to know. Um,
I do want to know though.
well, welcome, Melanie Sears, to Critter
Thank you.
Literature.
Thank you. A
I
while
just wanted
ago.
to introduce you first, and then we'll get into the book that we're going to be talking about. So, yeah, welcome to, let me just do my little thing. Welcome to Critter Literature. We are a podcast that discuss animal literature and the human animal relationship. And each week I'm asking a different person that's involved with animal rights to discuss something that influenced them as an animal advocate and animal rights person. So, this week is Melanie Sears of Farley's Farm Sanctuary, if I got that right. And if you could just maybe
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about what you're doing out there. I mean, the last time I was there, you had like a couple chickens and a turtle and a fish, and now you have all these critters. So,
Yeah, like
if,
60 animals.
yeah,
It's
if you
been
could maybe
amazing.
just talk about your mission and what you're doing out there in Swanton, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you visited like 5 years ago, almost exactly 5 years ago, like right after I was able to buy this house and
Yeah.
land.
Yeah.
So since then, yeah, a year later in 2022, I started the nonprofit called Farley's Farm Sanctuary with the mission to provide sanctuary and forever home to specifically farm animals. We do have other animals too, like rats and bunnies and a turtle, like you mentioned, peacocks. But yeah, specifically, I was interested in starting a sanctuary for animals that otherwise have no place to go, specifically animals that come from the food industry. And so that's what happened. And now we have like 60 animals. And it's not just me, there's like many people that support and volunteer and help and make it happen and donate. And it's really been amazing. And it's definitely an honor to be able to live alongside them. And it's my dream of what I've always wanted to do. So
And I think
I'm so
that
grateful for that.
And I think that what you did was so correct in that you organically grew it from something that was just you, and then you built and built in a way that was smart. Like you didn't just all of a sudden take on a million animals. You
Oh, God, no.
grew it very organically, and then you built a community of people as far as I can see. And when I visited you, you just had a few animals and then you had all of this potential. And now
Yes.
seeing you online, it's like you're doing everything that seems to be correct, because we know in the rescue world, people overload themselves and they burn out. And you seem to have built a community and a place that's going to be organically supporting, and the animals that
Yes.
you have will be supported because you've built this base.
I've been intentional about that. And if you think about, what's sustainable, sustainable is not fast. So it's been really slow. And just like the animals, I mean, the organization itself is a living organism with people coming, going, animals coming, going. So yeah, I have been trying to be really careful with matching the growth with the level of community of support just to keep things sustainable.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, everything, I have no complaints.
Yeah, it's
Everything's been
amazing.
wonderful.
It's just amazing, and it seems like, I mean, when I visited you, you had very limited animals, but you were very intentional about how are you going to grow the place, and you've
Yes, and where the animals come from too, actually. Yeah.
hmm So
Yeah.
just a little background is that me and Melanie worked together at an animal rescue in Seattle and north of Seattle. And today we're going to talk about Ferdinand the Bull, which is
Aw.
a story that resonates with both of us because when I was working at the same sanctuary as Melanie, we took in a baby calf that fell off the back of a slaughter truck. And we took him in, and his name, I don't know if I named him or you named him or who named him, but we named him
I don't
Ferdinand.
know who named him. I don't
I
remember,
think
but
I
yeah, he
did.
was Ferdinand.
I'm gonna
You
take
might have. So
I'm gonna take
you can take credit for
responsibility
that.
for that.
Okay.
And it was funny because I had a dog that I rescued from the same rescue, and we'd go out into the field and we would sit there with Ferdinand, and he was a baby calf
Oh,
that needed socialization. He needed friends, and for the first time, I realized he was the product of the milk industry, and it
right.
made me go vegan. Ferdinand made me go vegan because I realized how corrupt and awful the milk industry was. Because I think when you met me, I was still vegetarian and wavering.
I
And
believe so.
I
Yeah.
totally understood that this gentle, beautiful soul that was like rolling around like a big old dog in the dirt with me and my puppy was a product of the milk industry. So
Yeah,
it was a
which is
life
something.
changing event for me.
Yeah, and even to this day, with the cows here, people ask, "Oh, are you going to have to milk them?" Like we're just taught from a young age, cows just make milk, but it's just not the case.
Yeah, could you explain that a little
Mammals
bit?
make milk after having a baby. It's not something that they just make. So something has to happen to that baby if they're not getting the milk, and that's, yeah, exactly what's happening. The babies are being removed from their mothers so that way humans can take the milk from them. And that's just the fact of what's happening to keep the grocery store shelves full.
And I remember every evening when I left, you could just hear him
Aw,
crying, across the
yeah.
sanctuary. And it was just heartbreaking. And that did. I mean, you met me before when I was a vegetarian, and that Ferdinand turned me vegan because I realized that he was a product of this really deceitful industry called the milk industry. And so it's really bittersweet that we're talking about this tonight.
Totally. And it's really, yeah, I just want to mention that he did get an incredible adoptive home with another rescued little calf, and he lived a long, wonderful, amazing life and passed away just recently at 16 years old. And it's just so special for a farm animal to even reach old age, let alone have a wonderful life. And
I
it's
have
just
this
really
I have
wonderful. I
this
love
beautiful
it.
photo of you curled up with one of the cows from the sanctuary,
Aw,
sleeping with one of the cows, laying back. And maybe
love
could
them.
you like maybe expand upon the emotional lives of cows a little bit?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit just about the two cows that we have here, Frida and Glinda. They were both bottle babies, like Ferdinand, rescued from the dairy industry. They are both free Mertens, which means that they were born, each of them, they're not siblings, but they each were born with a male twin, which happens at times. And when that happens, the female calf absorbs some of the male hormone and it essentially makes them sterile. So a sterile female calf on a dairy farm, like the male calves, have no value. So there actually is a really kind-hearted farmhand that worked at that dairy farm and worked hard to try to find the free martin calves homes, and that's how they ended up here. So I got the honor of bottle raising these babies, and they are so they're so like huge puppies, and they are my big babies. They are so funny. Every time I walk along the fence, or if anyone's over, they walk right with us along the fence, and we go for walks back in the woods. The cows can't see. When they were young, we used to put halters on them and walk them back there, but now they're kind of too big to do that. And the whole time now, if I walk back there and I'm out of sight from Frida, she's back there mooing and crying the whole time until I come back. They
I
love.
remember the administration at the place that we worked at, and I'm intentionally not really naming the name because we have mixed feelings about that. Um, they told me I could not really associate with Ferdinand after a certain point because he was going to become this big aggressive bull. And we know that's just not the case. Like the cows and the bulls are not aggressive. They do not have that instinct in them.
No, and I actually, I guess just getting right into the story, I listened to it recently and took some notes, and that's one of the first things I noticed from the story was in the Ferdinand the Bull story, they mention how all the calves and cows are butting heads and they're fighting, which just immediately made me think about because I know I experience cows every day. They're playful, they're playing, and that's how they play. But humans are perceiving it as aggression because they're 2,000 pounds.
Right.
So they're just playing, but automatically, because they're expressing their natural behavior, it's being interpreted already as aggression, but it's not. They're being playful babies.
And that's exactly my association with them being in saving them and having them interact with like my little dog and me. Like they were so playful and so delicate, but yet, they're huge. So
They're huge, and that's the perception. And they spend so much, they're so chill and zen too. They spend time just laying down in the sun and ruminating, and they're so calm. And yes, I can still go out and just like lay my head on Frida or Glinda and just rest in the sun. They're so precious and sweet.
oh, they are so precious. Well, let me
They're
just
so
say a little
precious.
bit of the background about Ferdinand the Bull that you brought to me. It was published in 1936, and it tells a story of a gentle bull in Spain who prefers sitting quietly under a cork tree, smelling flowers rather than butting heads with other bulls. As Ferdinand grows, his size and strength make him appear like the perfect candidate for the bullring. And after accidentally sitting on a bee and reacting wildly, he is mistaken for a ferocious and selected for a bullfight in Madrid. And I think this is such a perfect example for the world right now. Like he basically was a symbol of civil disobedience. Like
Pacifism.
they
Absolutely.
dragged him into the bull ring and he refused to interact.
He absolutely refused to be a part of the show that society was trying to push him into.
And the
He
book
did it
was
peacefully.
actually banned in Spain because this is like 1936 during the Franco like revolution, and they thought that
Yeah.
this was a political statement that this bull, and it probably was, that this bull was not engaging in violence.
No,
And
he
so
wasn't. And when he wasn't, the characters in the book were mad and they were angry.
mhm.
But he was being so peaceful and just sitting there and just being himself. Um, and I think too in the book, just something that I noticed really is that him just being himself and being peaceful was really kind of classified like something's wrong with him, or but he was just being himself and not participating in the mania of society.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were ready to poke and prod him and get him to fight, and he refused. He just sat down and he saw the bonnets in the women's hair, the flowers in the women's hair, and it reminded him of his meadow, and he was mesmerized by that. And so he just sat down and was like looking at the flowers.
Aw, the power of meditation.
It's
Yes, I love
so
that.
beautiful. And I hadn't read this in a while, or maybe I never read it. And I was so nervous that they were going to sweep in and like kill him. But he does get brought back to his field, which is unrealistic in our world. But he does get brought back to his field, and he's under the cork tree to this day, just meditating on the flowers and such. And that brings us back to our Ferdinand that we knew. He lived out his days in a sanctuary and just had a life of a cow, and just had the interaction with other cows, and just died a peaceful end. And you see that every day, which is just a beautiful thing.
It's so special to see them get to grow old. Such an opportunity. Yeah, I think oftentimes in our society too, we'll like look at old people or old animals and feel bad for them or something. But it's really incredible they were able to make it to live that long. It's kind of amazing.
It is amazing because what's a
Yeah.
calf's life? I mean, less than a year.
Yeah, I mean, typically within the industry, as far as from what I've read for veal, I mean, maximum, I think they live like 8 months, something like that. They're babies. They literally are babies. And that is something I have discovered since starting the sanctuary is that all of these animals that are in the food system are literally babies. Like the birds are peeping still. By the time they're growing so fast, they get sent to the slaughterhouse. Something else I noticed from it too, which I notice in many children's stories, is that the book did kind of write it in a way like the other cows were fighting because they really wanted to be picked to fight the matador. So it's kind of putting them in a perception of like, oh, they want that, and oh, cows, yeah, they make milk and that's what they do. But that's not what they want. If you give them a choice, they're just being painted that way. If you could really, it's the same thing as zoos. If you really look at things from the animal's perspective and, what is in their best interest, though they don't want to go, they were just playing. They don't want to go fight a matador and be poked and stabbed and killed.
I know, and so that's like a little bit of like the nonviolence versus like what they're expected to do is sort of a theme that goes throughout that. It's a sweet little story, but it's basically talking about individuality. I mean, Ferdinand was such an individual amongst that whole crowd, and if we're all just allowed to be our own individual self, it upends the norms that we impose, especially on other animals.
Totally. I mean, even it's so silly, but even the two cows here, Frida and Glinda, like if you bring them the same treat, Frida will eat it and Glinda will spit it out. They even have different tastes. They are individuals just like we do. They have different mannerisms, different voices, different tastes, different everything. They're different.
And then the factory farmed world will have us to believe that they just don't think as individuals. And in reality, we know that they are complete individuals with personalities that are one of a kind.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Especially here. Yeah, I got Frida first, so I think it's kind of like your first child. Then I got Glinda, and Frida stole out of my attention from.
And where did they come from? What was the background?
They came from an industrial factory farm. They were free martins and were born, and we're going to be put in a wheelbarrow and wheeled away from their mothers. But we were able to give them a chance in getting out of the farm because the farmhand was willing to let them go. So, they were transported back here in the back of the CRV that we have, and were basically the size of a large dog, and they wore jackets all winter to stay warm and drank their bottles, and it was a little bit touch and go, especially for Frida. She was so sick when she first came, but now she is a big girl. and Glinda too.
And how long do you think they will live if they have a healthy life?
Well, I mean, I hope they live into the teens. I've done quite a bit of asking around other sanctuaries, and that seems pretty typical. But just like, we know these things now. I think the majority of people know these things about purebred dogs, that they have certain health conditions because of their breeding. It's the same thing with these animals that are from the industry. So they are Holsteins, and they were bred to produce a lot of milk. And because of that, it has altered their genetics in other ways. So I hope they live to be into their teens. I just love them so much. But we made it.
So happy. And I'm so inspired by what you've been doing, because I've known you since you've been 20.
I know.
Maybe 19. So, and you've just...
And now I'm 36.
You've done things the right way. And we all know in the rescue industry, the rescue world, it takes a balance of mental health and physical health, and then just doing things logically and to be sustainable. It seems like Farley's Farm Sanctuary is becoming something that can be sustainable. And I'm just so proud of you. You're just doing such a good job. And it's just amazing to have known you before and now, and just knowing that you're doing the right thing for these animals. And
you've seen though, I was so intentional about getting all the experience and meeting so many people. And I really, really did it slowly. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start an animal sanctuary. And then I just did it. It was like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to learn this. I need to learn how to like handle large animals. I need to learn how to drive a trailer. I need to, all those things you don't really think about, but you have to learn to like do this stuff. I have to be willing to go outside like year round in the freezing cold, like hauling water. I need to,
Mhm.
learn about all the medical things. And the fact is, too, even with like veterinary care and things like that for these farm animals, it's a challenge. And it's a challenge to find doctors that really care about the animals to help support their long term well being. And I feel like that too has required a lot of working together and critical thinking skills because, as much as I don't even know that the veterinarians mean to do it, but I mean, speciesism is totally like rampant in our society. So the fact is that when you take a chicken to the vet versus you take a dog to the vet, the experience is very different. And um,
I've had that
yeah,
experience with my ratties when I bring the rats to the vet because they're considered something lesser.
yes.
The attention to detail and the attention to their care is a little bit different. And I'm not judging. Well, I am judging, but it's just the way it is. It's
It's
just,
the way it is. Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
which is
But I,
sad.
yeah, but I think us even giving them the opportunity to get that care, like that is just a different kind of advocacy.
Mhm.
It's been so cool too to watch both of our advocacies evolve throughout the years and how we've changed and done things, and it just takes so much creativity and just keeping on. Yeah, you're really good at being creative, and
Well,
I
you are a baby in age. I was a baby in my advocacy. Like I just didn't quite understand, and like being around you and other people that we all love, and and the attention to just understanding other beings' emotional and physical lives was such an education for me. I
you
thought I
have the empathy
understood.
though. You have the
We
empathy.
were born with the empathy. And
Yeah.
so when I read this book, it was like I was on pins and needles wondering if they were going to kill Ferdinand at the end. And it was unrealistic. They would not have carted Ferdinand back to his farm. They would have, done something.
Yeah.
So
Um,
for me,
so,
that was a big, like I was on pins and needles. And I think that's the whole thing with what I'm trying to do is that we're reading stuff and we're looking at popular culture and how it sort of shaped our vision of these animals. And I think that Ferdinand is like a beautiful symbol of pacifism and just not giving in to what people expect you to be. And like what I like about this story is that they do paint him as an individual. He didn't care that people were expecting him to fight in the bull ring. He was like, I could care less. They chose him because he sat on the bee, and all of a sudden he was acting like an aggressive bull. But when push came to shove, he was just reacting to the bee sting, but he had nothing to do with being aggressive.
yeah,
And we do expect that. I mean, people's idea of what a bull is so different than the reality.
totally. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they can't, they do have hormones and they can be protective. But yeah, we really, it seems like to separate ourselves from other non-human animals, but
Mhm.
we experience, yeah, the same. We're
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. Well, Melanie, I'm so happy that you chose to join us. And I am
Oh,
so excited to come back to your sanctuary and
come back.
see everybody in the cows because I remember that was your
You will
goal.
love them.
And that was your goal to have cows.
Yes, you will love them so much.
Yeah.
Everyone loves them. They're so lovable.
Oh, it's amazing. So again, Melanie's sanctuary is called Farley's Farm Sanctuary. It's located in Swanton, Ohio. And like I said, she's just done an amazing job of building a sanctuary from the grassroots up. in a balanced and very logical way. So I'm going to put your information in the notes down
Yay.
below.
Thank you for including me, David.
Oh,
It's
of
so nice to
course. And
connect.
I'm going to come see you at some point
Please
very
do.
soon.
I'd love to see you again. I know you have to
Yeah.
see all the changes.
Yeah. So happy that you could join me.
Aw, thank you. I love all your creative projects. I love that you're doing this. It's
Thank you.
wonderful.
I'm gonna continue hopefully. So please
Yes.
subscribe, like
Yeah, subscribe and like.
for both of us. And and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.